Fyodor Dostoevsky, a master of psychological insight, understood the complexities of human relationships deeply. He often portrayed love as something filled with internal conflict, especially for those with keen intellects. Intelligent people, despite their ability to navigate the world with logical precision, often find themselves struggling with the most essential human experience: love. The central issue lies in the nature of their intelligence. People who excel in intellectual pursuits tend to overthink everything, and love is no exception. For them, love isn't something to be felt, it becomes something to be analyzed, broken down, and dissected. This constant overthinking can paralyze them. They may question their partner's motives, second-guess their feelings, or even intellectualize the very emotions that should be experienced freely. Dostoevsky's characters are perfect examples of this struggle. In novels like Notes from Underground or The Brothers Karamazov, characters experience deep inner conflict, where love is both a source of passion and suffering. They want to experience love in its fullness, but their intellect constantly stands in the way. It's as if their mind becomes a barrier between them and the emotional authenticity they crave. Instead of just being in love, they analyze and scrutinize it, pulling it apart until it no longer feels pure. This intellectualization of love makes them lose touch with the raw, unpredictable nature of human connection. Love, in its truest form, requires vulnerability, spontaneity, and a willingness to embrace the unknown, qualities that intellectuals often find difficult to surrender to. In this video series, we'll explore why intelligent people struggle with love and how they can find a way to embrace it without overthinking. For many intelligent people, love is inherently tied to vulnerability, a concept that can be deeply unsettling. Intellectuals, by nature, tend to guard themselves carefully. Their minds are often fortified with logic, reason, and analysis, and they see the world through a lens of control and understanding. But love, in its purest form, is not something that can be controlled, understood, or predicted. It's an emotional experience that requires openness, surrender, and vulnerability. Dostoevsky understood this tension profoundly. In his works, characters like Alyosha Karamazov from The Brothers Karamazov and the underground man from Notes from Underground are deeply conflicted about love. Alyosha embodies a form of love that is pure and selfless, but even he struggles with the complexities of human emotions. On the other hand, the underground man is overwhelmed by his fear of vulnerability and the chaos that love might bring. He builds walls around his heart, afraid that love will expose his weaknesses. For intelligent people, the fear of vulnerability in love is often heightened by their deep self-awareness. They understand too well the potential for pain, rejection, or betrayal. Their intellects may convince them that it's safer to stay emotionally distant, to maintain control, and to keep their feelings in check. But this emotional detachment only creates a barrier to true connection. The more they try to protect themselves from the vulnerability love demands, the more isolated they become. The struggle for intelligent individuals is not a lack of desire for connection, but the reluctance to expose their deepest selves. The mind, with all its cleverness, often keeps them from experiencing the heart's true longing. In the next part, we'll explore how this intellectualization of love can create deeper inner turmoil, preventing intelligent people from fully embracing their emotions. For many intelligent people, the greatest struggle lies in the conflict between their intellect and their emotions. Their minds, sharp and analytical, are often at odds with the messy, unpredictable nature of love. This internal battle can create a dissonance that makes it hard for them to fully engage in relationships. They are trapped between the desire for emotional connection and the need to rationalize everything that happens within the relationship. Dostoevsky understood this paradox deeply. His characters frequently find themselves torn between their intellectual understanding of the world and their raw emotional experiences. In The Brothers Karamazov, Dmitry Karamazov's emotional intensity and impulsiveness clash with his intellectual brother Alyosha, whose calm and spiritual nature makes him more in tune with his emotions. Dmitry's struggle highlights the tension between intellect and emotion. He longs for love, but his mind often pulls him away from embracing it fully. Intelligent people often view emotions as something to be controlled or understood. They analyze their feelings, scrutinizing every thought and response, attempting to reduce the chaos of love into a neat, logical framework. This analytical approach, while useful in many aspects of life, fails to capture the depth of love. Love is not something that can be fully rationalized. It is messy, unpredictable, and full of contradictions. By trying to fit it into an intellectual mold, intelligent people miss out on the emotional richness that comes from simply feeling, without judgment or analysis. The emotional intelligence required for deep, meaningful love isn't just about understanding one's feelings, but about allowing them to be experienced without the interference of the mind. In the next part, we'll explore how this struggle to reconcile intellect and emotion can lead to a sense of dissatisfaction and frustration in relationships for intelligent people. For intelligent people, control is often seen as a sign of strength. The mind, through analysis and reason, provides a sense of security in a chaotic world. But when it comes to love, this need for control can become a barrier to true connection. Love, by its very nature, is unpredictable and uncontrollable. It exposes vulnerabilities, stirs emotions that cannot always be rationalized, and forces us to navigate uncertainty. Dostoevsky's characters frequently grapple with this fear of losing control. In Notes from Underground, the protagonist, trapped in his own intellectual musings, is paralyzed by the idea of vulnerability. His intellectualism becomes a way to distance himself from the unpredictability of love. He rationalizes his feelings, refusing to let himself fully engage with others because doing so would mean giving up control. For intelligent individuals, the fear of losing control often stems from the belief that emotions are a threat to their well-being. They worry that love might cloud their judgment, make them act irrationally, or leave them exposed to hurt. But this fear of losing control is exactly what keeps them from experiencing the fullness of love. The more they try to control their emotions and their relationships, the more distant and isolated they become. The key to overcoming this fear is to accept that love, like life, is inherently uncertain. It cannot be neatly planned or managed. By embracing the unpredictability and surrendering control, intelligent people can experience love as a powerful force for growth and connection, rather than something to be feared or controlled. In the next part, we'll explore how the fear of losing control can manifest in relationships and how to break free from this self-imposed constraint. For intelligent people, independence is often seen as a virtue, a sign of strength, self-sufficiency, and intellectual autonomy. They pride themselves on their ability to navigate life without relying on others. But when it comes to love, this very independence can create an inner conflict. The desire for connection, intimacy, and closeness competes with their need for solitude and autonomy. This paradox can leave them feeling torn between the pull of love and the pull of independence. Dostoevsky's characters, particularly in The Brothers Karamazov, grapple with this very issue. They yearn for love and connection, but are simultaneously frightened by the loss of their autonomy. They fear that in giving themselves to someone else, they will lose their sense of self. For many intellectuals, love represents a vulnerability they're not ready to face, an intrusion into their carefully guarded personal world. The paradox lies in the fact that true love requires both independence and connection. The most meaningful relationships aren't about merging into one entity or losing oneself entirely in the other. They are about maintaining a strong sense of self while still being open and available to another person. Intelligent people often struggle to reconcile these two forces because they feel that love will demand they compromise their autonomy. But in reality, love requires balance. It invites two individuals to come together without losing their sense of individuality. The challenge is to recognize that connection and independence can coexist. Love is not a threat to freedom, it's an expansion of it. By embracing both the desire for connection and the need for autonomy, intelligent people can find the peace and fulfillment they seek in relationships without sacrificing their independence. Intelligent individuals are often in control of their thoughts and actions, but when it comes to love, the intensity of emotion can be overwhelming. Love, in its purest form, challenges the boundaries of the mind. It forces intellectuals to confront raw, unpredictable feelings that are difficult to analyze and manage. The more intelligent someone is, the more they may fear the intensity of love because it disrupts their carefully constructed emotional control. Dostoevsky captured this conflict beautifully in his characters. In The Idiot, Prince Mishkin's innocent and unfiltered love serves as both his greatest strength and his vulnerability. His ability to love deeply and unconditionally isolates him, as others find his intensity and emotional openness foreign and uncomfortable. For intelligent people, the intensity of love can feel like an emotional flood, sweeping them away from the security of logic and reason. The fear of emotional overwhelm often leads intelligent individuals to keep love at a distance. They may shy away from fully experiencing love, fearing it will take over their lives and leave them unable to cope with its unpredictable nature. But by avoiding love's intensity, they deny themselves the fullness of the human experience, the passion, the vulnerability, and the depth that love can bring. In truth, the intensity of love is where true connection and growth lie. It forces us to confront parts of ourselves we may have neglected or suppressed. It asks us to embrace vulnerability and to trust, not just our intellect, but our hearts. Intelligent people often view emotional overwhelm as something to avoid, but in reality, it's the gateway to a deeper, more authentic connection. For many intelligent individuals, vulnerability is something to be avoided. Their intellectual prowess often leads them to believe that emotional openness is a sign of weakness. This mindset creates a deep conflict when it comes to love, where true connection can only happen when both people are willing to be vulnerable with each other. For the intelligent person, being vulnerable means relinquishing control, and that can feel terrifying. Dostoevsky's characters are often tormented by their inability to allow themselves to be truly vulnerable. In Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov's intellectual arrogance prevents him from connecting with others. He isolates himself, unable to open up to those who care about him. His fear of being vulnerable prevents him from experiencing the healing power of love and compassion. Similarly, many intelligent people fear that if they open up, if they allow themselves to truly feel, they will lose their sense of control and in doing so, expose themselves to potential pain. But the irony is that love, true love, requires vulnerability. Without vulnerability, there can be no intimacy, no deep emotional connection. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. The strength to expose your innermost self and trust that you can still be loved, even with all your imperfections. Intelligent people often avoid vulnerability out of fear, but in doing so, they limit their ability to fully experience the depths of love. Vulnerability allows love to grow, to be felt in its truest form. It is the key that unlocks the deepest connections with others. The challenge for intelligent individuals is to recognize that their strength lies not in their intellect alone, but in their ability to be vulnerable and open to love. The struggle between intellect and love is not a unique condition. It's a human condition. Intelligent people often spend so much time trying to understand and control their emotions that they miss the beauty of simply experiencing love for what it is, raw, unfiltered, and unpredictable. The very essence of love challenges the mind, pushing individuals to step outside their intellectual boundaries and into the vulnerable, emotional space where true connection lies. Dostoevsky's characters are prime examples of this struggle. They yearn for love, but they fear what it might expose about themselves. They fear the loss of control, the chaos that love often brings. However, through his writing, Dostoevsky reveals the ultimate truth. Love, despite its difficulties, is what makes us whole. It is the force that connects us to others, to our true selves, and to the world around us. The path to true connection in love for intelligent individuals lies in embracing vulnerability, surrendering control, and allowing themselves to experience the fullness of emotion without fear. It's about letting go of the need to rationalize every feeling and instead allowing those feelings to unfold naturally. It's about trusting that love, in its truest form, will never betray us, but will rather lead us to deeper wisdom, growth, and understanding. If you've been struggling with love in your own life, remember this. The answer is not in overanalyzing or controlling every aspect. The answer is in embracing the vulnerability that comes with it, trusting the process, and allowing yourself to be open, imperfect, and fully alive. Subscribe to The Wisdom Seeker for more profound insights on love, self-awareness, and how to align the mind and heart. Together, let's explore the psychological and philosophical depths of human connection.